I guess I've recently released my first in-depth Valorant competitive course, and so far 94 people have left some very good reviews. This course contains content that is exclusive that you'll not find anywhere else on my YouTube channel, and you'll likely not find on anyone else's YouTube channel. I make content that is very unique, very helpful, and if you want to improve, you're highly motivated to improve at Valorant, this is where you will do so. I'm also going to add other tiers to my Patreon, so make sure to keep an eye out there. Top link in the description below. Please enjoy the video, and peace. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about why you could benefit from a coaching session from me specifically. So first I want to talk about how you can get coaching from me if you are interested already. You can find the Discord link in the description below. You can find me on Discord, DM me. We talk about pricing, how you can get scheduled, and if you have any questions about getting a coaching session, what it entails, is it going to help you, you can ask those questions there as well. So also before we begin, I wanted to go ahead and say, who is coaching for, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need coaching, right? I'm immortal. But actually, I found that immortal players are probably my favorite rank to coach. But this also does not mean that if you aren't immortal, like say you're iron, that you won't benefit from coaching, that I won't enjoy coaching you, right? Really, the people that I enjoy coaching most are the people that are motivated to improve and learn more from Valorant, right? So if you come into the coaching session expecting me to teach you everything, right, this is the mentality that is going to make both of our jobs harder, right? Because I can't just spoon feed you everything that you need to know. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into reasons why you could benefit from coaching. Right, the first benefit is getting coaching from an outsider is very insightful. Insightful basically means that it's, it really allows you to see the way in which you're playing for kind of how it is, right? So whenever you play on your own and you have no outsider, you have no one giving you objective feedback on how you're playing. This is also why a duo could be very useful, by the way, because they can really kind of call you out on your BS. Because it's very easy to become stuck because of bad habits, right? Bad habits are something that we probably all have to varying degrees, right, of severity. So, a bad habit might be pulling your knife out a lot. And if you never really think about like, oh, I pulled my knife out so I died, you never actually realize that consciously. Obviously, this is a minor example of a problem, of a bad habit. This one's pretty easy to fix, especially if you just think about it. But this is the function that I would play as a coach, right? I'm basically looking at your gameplay to see what bad habits are worst. And usually it doesn't take me that long to figure that out. That's what we'll talk about in the next step. So a coach with significantly more experience will help break you out of these bad habits, right? Or at least that will help you become aware of them and also create solutions to them. The next benefit from coaching is that your biggest flaw or flaws will be made abundantly clear, right? So like we're talking about pulling your knife out. This is not a super big flaw, like I kind of said. A big flaw instead might be, I don't know, thinking that you need to entry every round on attack. So you keep entering the same place, regardless of whether or not your team is with you. And in my opinion, this is a really bad habit. This is a big flaw that you want to be made abundantly clear to you. And this is what I would be doing, right? The vast majority of players have at least one major flaw. And if you think you're not in this vast majority, if you're not in like Immortal 3, you probably have a major flaw. Whether it's with your mentality, whether it's with your mechanics, right? You probably have a major flaw, right? So keep that in mind. Don't think that you're in the minority that doesn't. Right? I even think that I have major flaws. I know what my major flaws are. Being a coach, I'm very aware of what my flaws are, which is kind of useful. As a coach, I can pinpoint this flaw in just typically a few rounds, right? Which might sound kind of like, oh, that's not true, right? You can't do it that quickly, right? No, but I actually do, because like I said, I coached hundreds of people. Whenever people make a mistake once, I'm like, okay, I'm keeping track of it in my head. But the second round that they do a flaw, like the one that I notice most often is autopiloting. So you go to an area once on defense, it either works or it doesn't work, and you go there again, and I'm like, okay, I pause the video, right, because we're VOD reviewing. I say, okay, you came here twice, and I'm guessing you didn't really think about where else to go this round, right? And this is a very, 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 very common problem in pretty much any rank that I've coached. People kind of automatically go places, and you're not really thinking about what opportunities do you have open to you, right? And so, after more rounds, it becomes even more clear that this is probably an either moderate or severe flaw for this person that I'm coaching. And for you, it might be something completely different. It might be like how you're aiming. It might be, crosshair placement. It might be that you're crouching and spraying every single gunfight you take and you don't realize it yet. It might be that you don't use your abilities efficiently, etc., etc., etc. Right? It might be your mentality. The list goes on and on for what your major flaw could be, what your biggest flaw could be. But this is likely what's holding you back, and this is my function as a coach to help figure out what this flaw is, right? Or flaws, because sometimes there's like one big flaw and a couple of minor flaws. Sometimes there's two really big flaws. Don't feel bad if you have like 2 or 3 big flaws. That just means you have extra work ahead of you, which can be good because you're gonna notice improvement even sooner than most people would. So the next benefit of coaching would be we will develop in-depth solutions to your weaknesses. So, like I said, you're gonna have one big flaw, but my true job is to help you think of a solution, right? Not just to make you aware of it, but also to help you think and find a solution to reduce the severity of this flaw and potentially make it go away entirely. Sometimes even if you're aware of a problem, you might be unaware of how to become better or how to fix it, how to improve the problem, right? Especially if you're newer to the game, you're a lower rank, right? And you have this problem, you're like, oh, my aim sucks, but I don't really know how to fix it, right? Like, how do I fix it? Or, I know that I'm not good at comms, but how do I actually comm? Like, what am I supposed to say, right? And if these are questions that you're asking yourself in your head, this is exactly what I can help you with. If you're not asking these questions, then, it's harder for me to help you. If you go into a session expecting me to spoon feed you the answers that you don't even have the questions for, then how am I supposed to help you, right? That's not really how it works. But we will analyze a game of your choice. I like to do VOD reviews, so you basically just record a game with about average performance, average to poor performance, and then we will look for a flaw. I like average performance VODs, and I like VODs because I think they're just better than live gameplay for a variety of reasons. If you guys have questions about why I think VOD reviews are better, you can ask me that in the description or in the comments. But yeah, picking a game of average performance or lower is good because I get to see what you both are doing good and bad, right? So anyways, moving on to the fourth and final benefit from coaching is that my coaching style is very flexible, right? So what I mean by this is that I want to work with you and give you the best personalized coaching session that I can. Personalized coaching session basically means that I try to adapt my teaching style depending on how I perceive you and what I think you need to hear, right? Because some people I can tell are a little bit more receptive to certain ways that I teach, right? And sometimes people, need to be taught in a slightly different way, right? It's hard for me to give examples, but let me think, right? So every player is unique and has his or her own path to becoming better. That's another way of putting it, right? So some people might need to hear like, how to aim train or, how to practice, how to warm up. They might have questions about specific things in these categories, or you might need help with something entirely different. You might need help with your mentality. You might need help with, most people that I coach actually don't really need help with mentality. At least that's my experience. Maybe they pick a VOD that doesn't show their mentality problems, but usually it's just kind of like more, not basic problems, but things like autopiloting, things like, not rotating correctly, things like just basic aim, how to aim train, you need to be aim training consistently. Very, somewhat basic stuff to me because it's literally almost every person that I coach that needs to hear these things. But yeah, right? So this is me, this is my coaching. If you guys are interested, again, you can find that in the link in the description, the Discord server or my Discord tag, which is also down in the description. If you have any questions about me, my coaching or anything like that, let me know in the comments. But without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace, guys. Hopefully you enjoy.